Okay, welcome to my second Powers Rankings video. I'm going to try to make this a, monthly thing. First day of every month, hopefully, if I have time. First day that I have time of every month, I will be making one of these starting next month. So just two quick things before I go team by team. One, 76ers are placed in A tier. Last video, they were in what the fuck is happening with U tier. Now it's figured out they're in A tier. And also a new Karl Malone tier. And I think Josh Giddey is firmly in Karl Malone tier. So, I also added title favorites tier for the two title, or the best team of each conference. And so I can just put them there. So first we're going to start out with the Boston Celtics, and I think pretty comfortably we can move the Boston Celtics up to championship favorite tier, because they're 12-3, they're 6-2 against above 500, 6-1 against below 500. They can't win an OT game apparently, of being 0-2 in OT, and overall they're just 12-3 for the best record in the NBA. They're the best net rating in the NBA, so there's that for them. As well as they're the two-headed monster of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Literally, their first loss of the season was to the other great team. So, we also have the Bucks, which I think can solidly stay in the tier that they're in, being tied for second in the East with a four-way tie. Being pretty mediocre, or 4-4 against quality opponents, and then 6-1 against below 500, which, you got to beat your crappy opponents. So I think they're going to stay in S tier. They got to figure it out. The defenses, I'm going to be honest, kind of sucked. The Bucks are 100, are fifth in offensive rating. We don't talk about where they are in defensive rating. Oh my God, they're 22nd in net rating. Again, not all that great. However, they're winning games, and that's kind of what's important, so they're going to stay in S tier. Nuggets are also going to stay in S tier. They're not being moved up to title favorites because, they've dropped some recently. Going down, they have firmly fallen out of the number one seed. They've fallen out of the number 2 seed as well, so the number 3 seed, tied for 3 with Dallas. As well as, against above 500 opponents, they're 4-5. They beat the people they should, but they don't kind of struggle against quality opponents. So they're just kind of going to be stuck there for now until they can prove that they consistently beat the good competition they did last year. Still S tier because I'm not going to be too knee-jerk on them, and they've had Jamal Murray, which is kind of a big thing. So they're going to stay where they are. For the Suns, they've beaten one team above 500, and that is Minnesota. They're good against the below 500 teams, and I think they're going to keep them in A tier because they haven't been healthy, and they're still 9-6, which is a good record, and they've won 6 or 5 straight games. Then to come from where they are, Timberwolves. Come on, title favorites. Listing off some stuff for the Timberwolves: 11-3, first in the Western Conference, their best start in franchise history. 7-2 against above 500 opponents, losing to let's see who it is. Losing to Atlanta and Phoenix. We do not talk about that Atlanta game, okay? As a Timberwolves fan, that's very traumatic for me. But they've beaten the Nuggets. That's the only really good team they've beaten from the West, I'm going to be honest. Unless you count New Orleans twice, but and from the East, they've beaten Boston and Philadelphia and Miami. To be fair, for the Miami and 76ers games, their superstars were ducking, but that's just because the Timberwolves are that good. If we look at ratings, the defensive rating is obviously number 1 in the NBA by a pretty large margin, by 1.3. Net rating is also third, only behind OKC and Boston. So they are pretty solidly in the championship contender tier. They've been world beaters, and this is they're out without Jaden for the last 2 games. They're going to continue to be without Jaden, but they have Nikhil. We have Nikhil, Alexander Walker. He's pretty much just Walmart Jaden. Nikhil is pretty good, so we have depth. Shake Milton's got to play better. Cat is back. So, yeah. So moving on to the 76ers, they're just here. They figured it out. They're 10-5. Joel Embiid is decent. They can't beat the Cavaliers. I don't even know what to make the Cavaliers because they are kind of a goofy team. It kind of rounds out the upper echelon until the Clippers are getting demoted to D tier. Honestly, I want to hear this shit about your win streak. You are not a good overall team at 6-7, barely hanging on to that final play-in spot as it stands. The Clippers are 10th in net rating, but I don't really buy that. They're kind of been limp on offense, not a good defense. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George are not going to work out. They are not going to go far, and they don't really have the depth to sustain it. Because what about the modern NBA landscape? The era of the super team is over. Los Angeles, you got to learn. The era of the super team is over. The teams that have recently won the last 3 finals winners have been the Nuggets, were a team built on depth, primarily. Jokic and Murray, and then depth supporting pieces. That the Warriors had Steph as their superstar, and then stars in Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Poole, all that stuff. But they were more supporting than they were like superstars on their own. And then 2021 Bucks, yeah, you got your good players like Giannis, obviously Giannis is your superstar. He's the MVP that year too. No, that was Jokic. Jokic was MVP that year. Not going to trip me up. You have Giannis, and you have, I think you had Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, but those weren't true superstars either. They're just really damn good players. Like, I guess the biggest example of super team working in today's NBA right now, Minnesota. They're so good. Legit super. I mean, they got the star. I already talked about them. But, yeah, Clippers, you're going to struggle. Grizzlies, this makes me so happy to do. Fuck you, Memphis. Never forgiving you for the fact that my team collapsed a year and a half ago. School shooter Ja is still out. I'm going to beat your asses on Sunday. I just jinxed it. God damn it. For the Heat, I'm moving you up to A tier. Jimmy Butler is still a bitch. Such a bitch. My God. Fuck Jimmy Butler. But he dodges the Wolves. Yeah, I guess you're winning games. And for ratings-wise, you have a net rating of 3.7. 10-5, I think. 113 offensive rating. And full on offensive rating stat. The Timberwolves in 2001-22 set an NBA record with the highest offensive rating ever. They would be 10th today. The Timberwolves actually have a worse offensive rating than last year, which is crazy. The defense is just sick. I already talked about the Wolves. Okay, so Knicks. You know what? New York. I'm going to be honest. You get moved up to A tier as well. Because besides Julius Randle, you're a good team. Shed Julius Randle. He sucks. Same career efficiency as Michael Jordan according to effective field goal percentage. But, yeah. Their net rating, 6th in the NBA at 4.7. They deserve this. Let's actually check their records above certain opponents. The Knicks are the 7th seed. Actually, I'm going to bump them down to B tier again. I'm sorry. They're just struggling against the quality opponents again. And they're staying there. Lakers in B tier. How do we feel about that? 4-7 against quality opponents and 5-0 against their bad opponents. And overall, they are 9-7. Their ratings. The Lakers have a .01 net, and pretty much even, and they're kind of a mid record wise. So they're getting moved down to C tier. LeBron James is really carrying this fucking team at 39. God damn. The Thunder are going to be moved up to S tier with how they've been playing so far. You know what? They have Karl Malone on their roster. It was 3-point. You know what? I saw somebody say somewhere, date girls above your 3-point percentage. And so let's look up Josh Giddey's 3-point percentage. I'm curious now. because it would be really funny if it was low. Josh Giddey, basketball reference. Let's see what his 3-point percentage this year is. 3-point percentage, it's 310. No, that's not awful. Josh Giddey sucks. Oh my god, looking at his basketball reference. Oh my god, how would people think this guy's going to be good? No wonder he has to do what he's doing. Dude, he sucks. But yeah, Thunder, S tier. Shea's popping off. Made that man. But he's doing good, so I got to respect it. Half a game back of the 1 seed. Again, 4-3 against quality opponents and 7-1 against below 500 teams. So they're taking care of business extremely well. Well-deserved S tier. For the Cavaliers, they're going to stay in B tier. Reason for decision is that they have beat really good teams for some reason. They're good against the bad teams. And this was without Donovan Mitchell. So, well-deserved B tier. Already talked about the next. The Mavericks are a surprise, but I'm hesitant to put them anything above B tier. Now, hear me out. They're the 4th seed in the West right now. They struggle against the good teams. They had, I think, an absolute collapse versus the Bucks. According to net rating, they are. Oh, they're down there. Oh, yeah, they're 14th in net rating, so they're just winning their close games. And you can't really live off of that. So, overall, they're... Yeah, I got it here. And the Mavericks, in 3-point... They've played 9 10-point games, and they're 5-4 on them so far. Mavericks well-deserved B tier. I'm going to be honest. Don't really see them going that far with the combo they have. Yeah, so the Nets, what are the Nets doing? Yeah, the Nets are going to stay in C tier. They're a C tier team. They let Trey put that much on their head. They are 2-8 against teams above 500. Not a recipe for success. So they're going to stay in C tier. Pelicans, I don't know what to make of the Pelicans. Zion's ducking. They're doing good against good teams. So I think they deserve a promotion to B tier. Low B tier, but B tier at that. The Warriors. What happened? What happened, Warrior? What happened? You're staying in C tier. 6-9 against above 500 teams and 1-0 against sub 500. That's hilarious. That is an insane stat. Fuck you, Draymond. Rudy Gobert better. And, well, yeah, that's kind of it. The Warriors, Josh Giddey would love my nickname for Chris Paul. I'll tell you that. So, Chris Paul trade, not working. Scott Foster owns Chris Paul. They're staying where they are. Kings are moving up a tier. The Kings are a pretty dang good team. I'm watching them play in person tomorrow against my Timberwolves for the crown of the in-season tournament Group C. So, my Wolves are undefeated at home. Huge game. I'm in person. Means the Wolves are going to lose tomorrow. Very sad, but I have not accepted it. I really fucking hope it doesn't happen. But it's probably what's going to happen. Because, of course, it will. But you know what? Kings, good team. Cat is better than Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox is one of the top best guards in the NBA. Put some respect on his name. It's just Sacramento is probably going to finish with the same high 40s, low 50s win count that they did last year. Probably win a series this year and then lose in the second round. Which, for their young core, it's progression. Hawks, how are the Hawks doing? I don't watch every single team. The Hawks are a C-tier team. Yeah, very much a C-tier team. Trey and DeJounte are only going to get you stuff. That's a dumbass pair. People harp on the Gobert trade, but DeJounte or whatever it's called is just so much worse. My God, it is awful. I've talked about you. Pacers, welcome to... that's a bit bullish. You get B tier. You're above the Knicks, in my opinion. You're not above the Knicks, in my opinion. I changed my mind, but you're above the Pelicans and the Kings. Let's just talk about offensive rating for a second. The Indiana Pacers have an offensive rating of 123 and a defensive rating of 120. No other team has an defensive rating, or no other team has an offensive rating higher than their defensive rating. Literally just running gun basket. I got on the ball. They are insane at scoring. Tyrese is him. Tyrese is a nice player. This is God. It's no defense, dude. The complete obviously going to move like them. These two teams are complete opposites. Defensive hard-nosed basketball with an efficient offense. Balls to the walls basketball. That'll be entertaining to watch, though. 21-22 Wolves type beat, question mark. Raptors, the Raptors are going to stay in D tier. Probably going to sell at the deadline. That core is just exhausted. I don't really got much to say on the Raptors. I don't keep up with the East as much as I do the West. Spurs, F tier. God damn. Wemby, you got to do better, man. You're that tall. You're getting outperformed by Chet Holmgren. The Spurs have a net rating of negative 13.2. They are the worst team in basketball. By far. God. They had a fake game against the Timberwolves, though. God, I love my Timberwolves so much. Jazz, you're always going to be demoted to F tier. You suck. I'm going to be real with you. Get better, maybe. Well, I'm actually, dude, looking at this net rating thing, there's a clear drop-off from when you get to your D, F and D tier, D and F tier teams, and your C tier teams. 22nd is the Cavs, which they beat enough good opponents to warrant the B tier at a negative 1.9. 23rd is the Bulls at negative 5.2. So that's kind of what separates them. The Bulls are going to stay in D tier. They still got DeMar and Levine, but they're gone. They are gone, man. Gone. So yeah, the Magic are an A tier team this year. Did not see that coming. They are, 5-3 against quality opponents and 5-2 against below 500 opponents. So they are beating good competition. They beat the Nuggets, dude. That's an accomplishment. So well deserved. A tier. Paulo Banchero, pretty good player. I don't know anything about the Magic. They're just doing good. And for some reason, the Timberwolves just can't beat them. So well deserved tier for them. F tier, Blazers. Yeah, I mean you can't really. They're the second worst in net rating. You can't really move the Blazers from F tier. Straight up an F tier team. Same with the Pistons. Their net rating isn't awful, but they have lost 12 straight games. That is awful. The Rockets with Fred VanVleet, Dylan motherfucking Brooks. C-tier team. Congratulations, Rockets. You probably are making a play in this year. Dylan Brooks is one of your best offensive players, which is just fucking hilarious. Hornets. The Hornets are I'm going to move on. They're definitely a D-tier team. Definitely above the Bulls. Clippers. Yeah, I don't care if they I want to be low on the Clippers all year. They will be far below in tier list where the record says they should be because they are not a good team. I mean, come the fuck on, man. Washington Wizards. Jordan Poole. Memphis Grizzlies. They're fucking wrecked by injuries. Looking at them, so they play the Suns on national TV for some reason tomorrow. Just preview for the game against the Timberwolves at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Xavier Tillman's out. Luke Kennard's out. I know Jaron Jackson's playing. Steven Adams is out. They're missing a lot of people. When famous shooter Ja comes back, it's not going to be much better. But, yeah, they're missing a lot of people. So, I think that's everyone. Yeah. So that's going to be the tier list for this month. Let's go Wolves. Fuck the Grizzlies. Goodbye.